Hello dear students, welcome to Pen and Paper Chemistry on YouTube. As the name of the channel indicates, pen and paper is a must to attend and enjoy the lessons on the channel. We are continuing with the topic of solids, and we are specifically talking about the defects in the case of solids. We are in today's video going to talk about the metal deficiency defect, which is a kind of non-stoichiometric defects. Sounding clueless? You think you are not able to connect? Then go back to the 3 videos prior to this, which are loaded onto the playlist solid state, and there we have specifically dealt with stoichiometric defects in detail and the metal excess defect as non-stoichiometric defect. What do we mean by metal deficiency defect? Obviously, when the metal is less, it's a metal deficiency defect. Take the case of the students in your class. Let us suppose you have equal number of boys and girls in the class. First case, when one of the boys does not turn up at school, then in that case what happens is the percentage of boys in the class has gone down, whereas the percentage of the girls has increased. That means the cation, because the cation has gone missing, there is an increase in the anion, so that means the metal is deficient, right? So cation is less than the anion. There's another possibility when the number of cations can be less. Can you think of that possibility? Yes, of course. When, let us suppose, 2 more girls from the next section also join in for the chemistry lesson. Now, if you notice over here, the original number of students is still there, but we've got extra girls now in the class. Now, look at the percentage. The percentage of boys has gone down again. The percentage of girls has increased. So, the metal deficiency defect can take place in 2 possible scenarios. Either you have a missing positive ion or you have an extra negative ion. Are you noting all of this down? The chart, by the way, will come in very, very handy when you want to have a bird's eye view of the topic. So don't miss drawing it with your own hand and using different colors of sketch pens. Telling you, it is so easy to connect, it's so easy to recall, because I remember with the colors. We are able to connect with the colors more. Let us now talk about the 2 possible scenarios in greater detail. So first one is when the positive ion is missing from the lattice side. That means one of the boys or some of the boys do not come to the school, right? For some reason or the other. So what will happen? We need the other boys to cover up for them because only the girls are answering all the questions. So what do? Observe the structure over here. We've got iron sulfide, FeS. Yes, as you can see, I'm talking about a crystal of FeS. You can also have examples like FeO, NiO, Cu2O. So these kind of crystals are able to show a metal deficiency defect. Observe the crystal carefully. You've got iron, Fe2 positive, sulfide. The number of positive ions are being balanced by the number of negative ions in the crystal. But look carefully. There's Fe2 positive missing. It's gone missing. Now, if it has gone missing, that means the charges get disturbed. Otherwise, my Fe2 positive was nicely balancing the positive and the negative. Now, because it has gone missing, we still need to keep the crystal as neutral. What happens? Immediately, the other 2 irons, they pitch in and they say, okay, we are ready to lose our electron. With the result, they will each acquire a Fe3 positive charge. Now what did we have here? We had Fe2 positive, we had Fe2 positive, and we had Fe2 positive at each of these places. Now what has happened? 3 Fe2 positive. Out of those, 2 Fe2 positive got converted into, Fe3 positive, right? 2 of these got converted into Fe3 positive. And what happened to the third Fe2 positive? It has gone missing, leaving a hole over here. Now, because our iron has got converted into a higher oxidation state, that means there will be exchange of electrons over here. So, our Fe2 positive is getting converted into Fe3 positive by loss of electron. Overall, the neutrality is still maintained. You see, that's the beauty of this defect. So we can say that out of the 3 Fe2 positive, 2 of these got converted into Fe3 positive, right? And 1 Fe2 positive ion goes missing. So 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6. The total positive charge still remains the same, and our Fe2 positive has gone missing. So overall, in this effect, what has happened is, first, there has been a change in the oxidation number of the cation, right? I hope you are writing all of this down. And secondly, a vacancy or hole is created. There is a gap created over here. So both things are happening. Now, what kind of elements or ions are able to show variable oxidation states? Yes, they are very commonly. Of course, there you do have elements in the P block also showing variable valency, but you will most commonly encounter them in elements of the transition block. So transition elements are, because of their ability to show variable oxidation states, are found to show this kind of a defect. Iron, copper, nickel, platinum, palladium, so they are able to show what we call as the metal deficiency defect involving positive ion missing from the lattice site. I hope this concept becomes clear to you now, how it is there. Okay. Now let us see the other possibility. The second possibility is where the negative ions are extra. So there were some new girls joining into the class. So here the negative ion is extra. Now if it is extra, we have fixed number of places in the class, right? Each student is occupying their designated place. So if these new girls, they are coming in, they will have to find and fit themselves in some intermediate position. Now because we are talking about anions over here, and you know that the size of the anions usually is greater than the size of the cations having similar atomic radii, we'll find that it will be difficult for these to fit into the interstitial positions. The anions are not able to do that easily. That is why we notice that this kind of defect is not so commonly observed in the case of crystals. These are the notes for this heading. You may want to take a screenshot. You may want to write it down by pausing the video, or you may also take advantage, but use that only if you missed writing just now. All these notes will also be loaded later on to the Google site Pen and Paper Chemistry. If you Google pen and paper chemistry, it will lead you to a Google site, Pen and Paper Chemistry, where all these notes, these screens will be shared as a PDF. But please don't miss, your part of the job is to write down, not just watch videos. Just by mere watching, you will not be able to understand as much as you would when you write it yourself. There is a greater understanding by writing. Let us now do some of the consequences or effects of this metal deficiency defect. Now, as you can very clearly see, that there is loss of electron and there is a change in the oxidation state. Now, because there are electrons over here, they can absorb energy, light energy, and that leads us to, yes, of course, color, luster, shine. That is why we find that quite a few pyrites have, luster as much as they have a gold-like shine associated with them. That is why a few pyrites are classified, especially iron pyrites are classified as fool's gold. Second, since we are talking about the transfer of electrons, so movement of electrons means, yes, of course, again conduction of electricity, and we classify them as semiconductors. Third, because they are able to undergo change in their oxidation states, we find that they are very good at chemisorption, where they can form temporary bonds with the atom to be adsorbed so that they can provide a surface for the ions to come or the gases to come and react. That is why such kind of crystals are considered good catalysts as well, because of their ability to form bonds temporarily, because the Fe2 positive and Fe3 positive are constantly changing from one to the other just by the transfer of electrons. So we connect our understanding and try to explain the behavior of the crystals rather than just memorizing. In the next video, I shall be discussing the impurity defects, which will be the last set of defects in point defects in crystals. So do stay connected and we shall continue with this topic. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay connected. Thank you so much for your valuable comments. They really encourage me to improve the lessons. See you soon.